US, Japanese Korea pledge cooperation on Korea. The United States, South Korea, and Japan pledged Wednesday to cooperate on North Korea as their top diplomats met in London, coming together despite renewed tensions between the Asian nations. Reports AFP, joined by 8 U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken sat in the center of a U-shaped table with his Japanese and South Korean counterparts Toshimitsu Motegi and Chang Yui-yang on each side in a hotel conference room on the sidelines of a group of seven meeting. The State Department said that the meeting was meant to promote trilateral solidarity and discuss a policy review by President Joe Biden that looks to resume diplomacy with North Korea. Blinken and the two ministers reaffirmed their commitment to concerted trilateral cooperation toward the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula as well as other issues of mutual interest. State Department spokesman Ned Price said the North Korean Foreign Ministry similarly said that three reaffirmed the importance of the Korea-US-Japan trilateral cooperation and committed to work to promote peace, security and prosperity in the region. The two Asian nations are both treaty-bound allies of the United States but have long had friction due to the legacy of Japan's harsh colonial rule over the Korean Peninsula. South Korea last month voiced deep disappointment after Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga sent an offering to the Yasukuni Shrine, which venerates where dead including convicted were criminals, although leaders in Tokyo have in recent years refrained from the more explosive step of visiting relations deteriorated sharply in 2019 with South Korea pulling back at the last minute from terminating an agreement of sharing intelligence with Japan and North Korea. Since taking office, Biden has put an emphasis on working with allies. Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin visited Tokyo and Seoul together on their first foreign trip, and the Japanese and South Korean national security advisors met jointly near Washington as the administration concluded its North Korea policy review. Earlier this week, the top U.S. military officer, General Mark Milley, met jointly with his Japanese and South Korean counterparts in Hawaii. The Biden administration, in its policy review, called for speaking practical progress with North Korea, avoiding the flashy high-tech symmetry of former President Donald Trump. Malaysia tightness curbs in capital as corona cases rise. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia will tighten coronavirus curbs in the capital to combat a fresh spike in cases, with only essential business allowed to operate and restaurant dining in banned. Authorities said on Wednesday, reports AFP. The practical lockdown in Kuala Lumpur, initially set to last from May 7 to 20, comes a day after officials announced tougher restrictions in several districts surrounding the city. The Southeast Asian nation was hit by a fresh COVID-19 outbreak at the start of 2021. instructing authorities to reintroduce curbs not seen since the start of the pandemic. The declared a state of emergency. Infection rates fell and measures were eased, but cases the shop and socialized more. Announcing the new curbs in Kuala Lumpur, Defence Minister Ismail Sabri Yaqub said at least 17 new infection clusters were detected in the city last month. Only certain types of businesses such as supermarkets, petrol stations and medical clinics will be allowed to operate while the restrictions are in force, he said. Eateries can remain open but only for takeaways. Make people have already been working from home for months. 4 pack soldiers killed in ambush along Afghan border. Okay. Indian records 3,780 daily corona deaths. New Delhi, India accounted for nearly worldwide last week. Nearly half the coronavirus cases reported worldwide last week, the World Health Organization said on Wednesday, as COVID-19 deaths in the South Asian nations rose by a record 3,780 during the past 24 hours, reports Reuters. In a weekly report, the WHO said India accounted for 46% of global cases and a quarter of global deaths reported in the past week. Daily infections rose by 3,82,315 on. The number has been in excess of 3 lakhs every day for the past 2 weeks. Hospitals are scrabbling for bed and oxygen as they desperately battle a second deadly surge in infections, while morgues and crematoriums struggle to deal with a seemingly unstoppable flow of bodies. Many people have died in ambulances and car parks waiting for a bed or oxygen. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has been widely criticized for not acting sooner to suppress the second wave, as religious festivals and more political rallies drew tens of thousands of people to super spreader events. We need a government desperately, and we don't have one. We are running out of air. We are dying. The Booker Prize winning author Arundhati Roy wrote in an opinion piece that called for Modi to step down. This is a crisis of your making, she added in the article published on Tuesday. He cannot solve it. You can only make it worse. So please go. It is the most responsible thing for you to do. You have forfeited the moral right to be our Prime Minister. India's delegation to the group of 7 foreign ministers meeting in London is self-isolating after 2 of its members tested positive for COVID-19, Britain said on Wednesday. Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar, who is in London, said in a Twitter message that he would attend virtually. Broadcaster Sky News said Jaishankar did not test positive for the virus. However, the eastern state of West Bengal, which dealt Modi's party a defeat in an election last week, suspended local train services and limited working hours for banks and jewelry shops among its step to limit injections. Neighboring Nepal is also being overwhelmed by a surge of infections as India's outbreak spread across South Asia. Our international federation as Red Cross and Red Crescent societies said.